The book originated in the experience of going to Saturday evening Mass at the Church of Santa Prassede in Rome, a 9th century church, which has the largest extant series of mosaics from before 1200 within the city. And it's very beautiful. While I was reading in the library of the Archaeological Institute, I came upon a very thick book of 544 pages, which was written by the rector of Santa Prassede in the early 18th century. And his name was Dom Benigno d'Avanzati, and he clearly loved that church. And I came upon a statement of his, round about page 100, in which he talked about the life of Praxedis, this 2nd century woman who, with her sister, had been head of a house church, the house church of their father Pudens, a member of the aristocratic Roman, an aristocratic Roman family in the 2nd century, who was supposed to have been baptized by St. Peter in the 1st century, shortly before his martyrdom. And these sisters and their brothers were supposed to have been baptized by St. Paul.
This is the church of Santa Pudentiana, dating from 400 AD. It holds the oldest large-scale Christian mosaic in Rome. In the mosaic, Christ is seated majestically in the center of the vaulted semicircular niche. Behind him is the cityscape of Jerusalem. Around him are his apostles, dressed as Roman senators. 2 unidentified women present crowns, perhaps to Christ, perhaps to Paul and Peter, the princes of the apostles. These 2 women have sometimes been identified as Praxedis and Pudentiana, leaders of the house church, which their 5th century life describes as meeting here in their father's house in the 2nd century. In the ecclesiastical language of that period, they would be called presbyteras, elders.
And so this rector, who was a revered Benedictine monk, who had just been elected abbot of the Vallombrosan Benedictines, made the statement that Praxedis had been a presbytera, ordained by a close family friend, Bishop Pius I, or Pope Pius I, around 140 AD. That got me very interested. And that's the way I worked into the book.
The Church of Santa Prassede, which forms the centerpiece of this book, has the most intact mosaic program of any Roman church in the first 1200 years. It was rebuilt by Pope Paschal I in the early 9th century to honor Praxedis, younger sister of Pudentiana. Praxedis presided over this house church, which saw the martyrdoms of 23 Christians. Mosaics in 3 planes draw us forward towards the altar. First is the triumphal arch, with its depiction of heavenly Jerusalem descending to earth, to be met by the sisters Praxedis and Pudentiana, and the throngs from their house churches hastening to meet it. Second is the apsidal arch, with the 24 elders and symbols from the book of Revelation. And in the center, the apsidal mosaic, which features Christ returning in glory, flanked on the left by Pope Paschal, builder of the church, Saints Praxedis and Paul, her patron, his arm around her shoulders, and on the right, Saints Peter, Pudentiana, and a deacon. Pope Paschal's mosaic program is unusual on several counts. Its most striking feature for those who know Roman mosaics is the familiar gesture which Peter and Paul, the princes of the apostles and patron saints of Rome, extend to the 2 sisters. This, too, is part of their life, written in the 5th century. Only Roman mosaics feature women, other than the Virgin Mother, in a prominent location in the apse.
Most of all, I was interested in a possible ministry for women, which was acknowledged by the Church of Rome in the earlier centuries, and which was supposed not to have existed. After all, Rome has always said that it was the one church where ordained women had never had a place.
The Zeno Chapel is a small four-square room off a side wall of the Church of Santa Prassede. It was built by Pope Paschal to honor the martyr Zeno and to serve as a mausoleum for his mother, Theodora Episcopa. We enter through a doorway set in a Mosaic facade decorated with concentric arcs. Christ and his 12 apostles in the outer arc, Mary with Christ child, and 8 women form the inner arc. Inside, walls and vault overhead are decorated in mosaics as if they were a chapel built in the 9th century in Constantinople. On our right, the upper wall shows Saints John, Andrew, and James. Below, Christ is flanked by 2 saints, perhaps Zeno and Pudens, father of Pudentiana and Praxedes. On our left, Saints Agnes, Pudentiana, and Praxedes process across the golden ground. Below in the lunette, flanking the Lamb, 2 stags and 2 does drink from the fountain of life which flows from paradise. Gender balance is an unexpected feature of Paschal's commission. Below this vignette, 4 women look out at the spectator and across to the wall in which only men are depicted. Beginning on the left, Theodora Episcopa, the Pope's mother, is portrayed while still living. Praxedes, the Virgin Mary, and Pudentiana are her patrons. The presence of Theodora Episcopa invites the question, are allusions to women's church ministries to be found in this church and its patron's story?
Most of all, I was interested in a possible ministry for women, which was acknowledged by the Church of Rome in the earlier centuries, and which was supposed not to have existed. After all, Rome has always said that it was the one church where ordained women had never had a place. Well, I was investigating a mystery. During the 6 or 7 months I was in Rome, I came to understand that Rome is full of secrets. Everything's hidden away. It might be under lock and key, or you might be looking straight at it. There is so much. There's such an overplus of artistic riches, for instance, and historical riches. Where do you begin and what do you see? So, having had that experience, I had an intuition that Santa Prassede represented more than simply the sum total of the images which could be identified. What I am making the case for, based not only on Santa Prassede, but on other works of art from Rome and its vicinity, is that women, in fact, did hold offices, official ecclesiastical offices, in the Roman Church between the 5th and, say, the 11th or the 12th centuries. They were recognized, and some of them were ordained. I would think that this book would be of interest to a variety of people. First of all, to art historians and historians. And so there would be a group of scholars. But especially, I would think it would be of interest to people who are participants in the church or who are interested in the life of the church, whether they are actively participating or not. Certainly to women who have hopes for full participation in the life of the Roman Catholic Church. And there are a whole lot of footnotes, but the text, I trust, is accessible enough.